with the United Nations, a non-governmental organization. So as Kim, you heard in the interview, I said, I've been in private practice forever and thinking if I'm going to make a difference in the world, I'll do it from the inside out, one person at a time. But suddenly, out of nowhere, I'm at the United Nations, and I couldn't turn off my dreaming mind, and I started to get this download that caused me to literally shake the whole time I was there. It was almost as if I had palsy of some kind. I had to control myself to not just be like flopping around like a jellyfish at the UN trying to look so cool. But while I was there, I was just getting a download of, okay, why am I here? Somebody that deals on this esoteric level of dreams, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? At the conference, they were talking about the Millennium Development Goals, and that's the United Nations goals to, by 2015 and then by 2020, ultimately, to eradicate poverty and hunger, to create gender equality, to make sure that all children can have at least elementary primary education, to find cures for major diseases, to reduce the rate of women dying in childbirth, to reduce the rate of children dying before the age of 5, to find cures for major diseases, environmental sustainability, and a global partnership for development. Those were the issues that were being discussed, and those are called, the nickname for those goals are the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals. So the basic essence of the download I got is, in order to expedite the process of meeting these goals and fulfilling the promise of these goals, there needs to be an infusion of dream consciousness, getting outside of the linear, logical mind, because the people at the UN are brilliant beings, but many of them are very cerebral, very, very left-brained.
Exactly. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so I thought, well, this is one thing that I could bring, but they're not necessarily going to listen to somebody who's a hypnotherapist when they really want facts, figures, and dates and times and percentages, and I'm like, forget it. So I had this vision of taking the goals and bringing them to young people. And my mom and my dad, too, worked in the inner city of Los Angeles at a school. It's one of the biggest middle schools in East Los Angeles. And I had done some special programs at their school before based on some different things I was doing. So I knew I could just kind of show up in at least one classroom and say, hey, kids, here's the Millennium Development Goals. What do you think? But the night before I showed up, I thought, oh, my God, this is not good. You can't just show up and see a bunch of kids, especially kids that are living in the inner city that have a rough time as it is. You can't just throw out these goals. You've got to give it to them in a context that's going to empower them. So I created this time travel opportunity for them to actually go into the future and imagine the dream, the goals already fulfilled, and then they got to explore how they would solve the problems if they were in a position of power. And cut to the present, we've been doing this for several years. We've been able to bring some of these students with us to the UN to meet presidents of other countries. We're working with the president and first lady of Honduras. We've got other countries we're meeting with ambassadors all the time about how to bring the Dream Project into their countries. People, they're freaking out because it's really making activists out of students, especially students that are quote unquote underprivileged, and turning them into problem solvers and dream makers and rainmakers.
Exactly. There you go.
For the UN. So the website is dreamprojectun.org, dreamprojectun.org, if you want more information about that.
That sounds so exciting. It is so much about timing, too. And sometimes it's timing and approach, because maybe it took going in with something that was non-threatening as a methodology to activate the imagination, first of the people at the UN who could make the decision to bring you in.
Well, it's really through the back door.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we were sitting around in Honduras talking to the high-level cabinet, all the people that run the country, basically, talking to them about the work that we could do with kids. Because we were talking about the kids, it's like it wasn't like I was talking to them directly. I was talking to them about the kids that they care about in their country. And I could see all of their eyes watering. I could see their hearts opening, because we're talking about kids, but they're actually going through the process themselves. So I was invited to speak at the UN about this, and I got so many enthusiastic approaches by people that were saying, thank you, I know this is for kids, but I feel like I'm really being moved and uplifted, and I need this too. But most adults aren't going to, admit it. They'd rather do it on behalf of the kids, and then they benefit as a byproduct.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kim.
Yeah, my pleasure. And it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And I love the work that you're doing, and I love the way that you're doing it, the way that you're going about it. The other thing that's obvious is that you have a lot of humility, and you've done a lot of work on yourself, and it shows. I mean, it really does. You're kind of a clear vessel.
Oh, yeah, so. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
From the Rainmaking Alchemy desk, I have to tell you, it's impressive.
I love that. I love it. And I love what you're doing. And it's such a powerful, talk about the power of words, rainmaker. Oh, my God.
When I see children anywhere I am, I always tell them, my name is Kahuna. And I tell them, it's rainmaking time. And they laugh and they smile. It's kind of what I do when I walk around. Parents, of course, roll their eyes like, what just happened? But I don't care. It's great fun. If you go on the site, it's Rainmaking Time, you'll see me introduce It's Rainmaking Time, the declaration, to Holly, who's 2 years old in the video, about the spirit of It's Rainmaking Time. My vision was to introduce It's Rainmaking Time to children across the world. And so I have a tremendously deep affinity for what you're about and what you're doing and what you're really activating, because I know what it is.
I know you do.
It's the good stuff. It's the magic of the heart. It's great stuff. Thank you so much for being our guest. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to contact Kelly Sullivan, you can contact her by going to kellysullivanwalden.com. And you can also pick up her book, I Had the Strangest Dream, The Dreamer's Dictionary for the 21st Century. And Kelly, thanks so much for being here. Please feel free to come back anytime.
I would so love to, Kim.
Are you going to say my 3 favorite words?
It's rainmaking time.
It's rainmaking time. Thank you, Kelly.
My pleasure. Thank you, Kim.
Bye-bye.
Have an amazing day. Sweet dreams.
You too.